Welcome to Running is Bullshit. I'm Amy.
And I'm Stuart, and you're listening to the podcast that loves to hate running. This is episode 160, for fuck's sake. And this week we're talking about unicorns and horses again, redemption, vampire flies, hardcore inclines, and when is a creep not a creep? Amy's favourite subject.
Oh, yes.
A few creepy stories to come.
Is it creepy as in scary creepy, or is it creepy as in some man is following me home creepy? Okay,
Yeah.
Then if you got to ask, then yeah, it's creepy.
Let's jump straight in, catch up the last episode. I posted Amy's unicorn story on Instagram and put a little poll on it. That's right, we're doing things properly on Instagram now, 159 episodes in. The poll on there showed most people agreed it was a unicorn. So I think that is officially, unicorns are no longer mythical, they are real, because Amy's seen one and some people agreed with her on Instagram.
Yeah. I mean, I was the eyewitness, and I think you should always believe the eyewitness who was there and experienced it. It wasn't just seeing the unicorn; it was the energy as well.
Yeah, I stand with women, and if you say so, then I will. Yeah. I will back you because I am a feminist. David Irwin said, "I had to stop running as Amy was so funny with her stories. They are priceless." Yeah, to be fair, her stories put me off running too. I have to stop every now and then when Amy tells her stories because I just can't take it anymore.
Was that David's quotation mark around stories as well? Or was that
it was. Yeah, he has.
Okay,
stories and quotes there.
Stories. I don't know if he's stories.
The things that really happened.
I love the absolutely priceless bit as well, because they are priceless. No one's paying to hear this. Everyone's cancelling their Patreon subscriptions right now. Jen Danger Harding, who was at the run as well, replied to say that she had no memory of the unicorn. Jen,
is that part of the magic? Because she's a non-believer, the unicorn wiped her memory of it, so she didn't, do anything bad.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I think because she sort of lives in that area, I think she's trying to gatekeep the unicorn as well. She's like, I don't know any unicorn, but really she's going down and feeding it magical sugar cubes every morning. So, I wouldn't trust that. Jen also went to Austria to run in the mountains, but got infected by a filthy child and then spent a week in bed instead. Ugh,
that's what you get for being around children.
I nearly said I hate children, which is a really big statement, but I think we've spoken about this before, where parents have always got some really disgusting.
They're always ill. All the parents I work with are just constantly ill. It's awful.
Yep. Hand, foot, and mouth, and eyes, knees, and toes, and whatever else, and all those stuff you haven't heard of, apart from in a textbook about sort of 14th century London, some real old school plague illnesses that kids also pick up and pass on.
Oh yeah, Sebastian got sent home from school with cholera again. Oh, there's a lot of it going around, isn't there? Well, it's this time of year. You can mention any time of year, any illness, and someone will say, there's a lot of that going around at the moment. It's just such a universal thing, and everyone is absolutely convinced it's true every time they say it. It makes me laugh every time.
Yeah.
About a month ago, I went to get my hair cut, and while I was in there, some kids came in to get their hair cut as well. I was almost I'd forgotten about children, because I don't go anywhere where children are. I see them outside every now and then, but they don't matter. They're separate. But I was just in a room with children. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about these. They're horrible.
The thing is, when you notice kids, that's when they're not good kids, because I know loads of kids that are really lovely, but it's because they're quiet and I forget they're there, lovely, nice, quiet kids. But if you notice the child, it means they're probably not a good child.
Yeah, shout out to my friends' children. They're all great. I love them. Whole different situation. Anyway, Tessa Haberley, she's a top fan on Facebook, and she's very proud of that, even though we don't really know what it means. She says a horse's fringe is a forelock. And she said nobody cuts the mane or the forelock or the tail. You pull the strands out to make it even, and it takes ages to do properly. Otherwise, you end up with a bowl cut.
This is what that unicorn had. Well, there was two of these creatures in the paddock. Is it called a paddock? The field. There was the unicorn, and then also a regular horse as well. But they had bowl cuts, and honestly, that's why I went over to them initially, because I was like, look at their hair. What the hell? Somebody had cut the hair. Somebody had cut the hair. I know you're saying nobody does it, but somebody had done it, and it was a bowl cut. I don't think they know about the pull the strands out method.
It doesn't feel right just to pull the hair out until it's even. That feels very wrong to me. I mean, I'm not a horse girl in any way, but come on, that's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, you're also like nailing in metal to the bottom of their feet as well. Like, it's the least of their worries, you know.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Don't come for me, horse people. I know it doesn't hurt the horse. Probably, I don't know. Sherry Grubbs said, back when I was better trained, I did get better results with beet shots in a small shot of water mixed from a powder. Possibly because I live at a higher altitude and the improvements are more noticeable, ? I finally started to have sub 30 5k races with no other changes. Lately I've been trying these beet gummies. They taste really good. Jury is still out on the effectiveness since I'm not training well currently. That's really... I have heard beet stuff, whether it's gummies, shots, whatever, has a noticeable difference for people. I just can't... Well, the fact that when the one time I've taken a beet shot, like, it gave me a massive, like, a panic attack thing
shit.
where my heart...
Oh, no.
Yeah, like, my heart started beating uncontrollably. For me, that's bad, but for other people, I imagine that manifests in ways that are good for running. You know, your heart beating faster.
I feel like that's always bad.
But what I mean is, like, it's doing something. It's changing something. It changed things in me that were bad, but for other people, it could be good, you know?
I can't imagine anyone's getting a panic attack coming on, being like, right, I can use this. Here we go.
I mean, that's kind of what panic's for, isn't it? To run away from something really quickly.
It would be a fine line. It's a risky tactic to take. To like, right, if I need to get myself in the zone for this race, I need to get myself to the point of a panic attack and then just shy away from it. So I get the heart rate and everything, the adrenaline going, but I don't completely freak out and spend a day crying. So yeah, it's a risky move. We do not recommend.
Yeah.
It's possibly still safer than necking a load of beets or bicarb. I don't know. Karen Hamilton says, yo, thanks for the anti-pep talk. I needed that and I'm much better this week. I shall also try to be better at writing emails which don't require toilet breaks. Now, I'm not sure if we give people tough love on this or whether we're just arseholes. I think it's very likely it's the latter. Like, people message us with their issues and we just say, ha, you're a prick, don't go over yourself. We might just be really bad people.
I think we are. I think we are. Yeah, I think we are actually. Yeah. Matt Garner said, I'm tempted to start a petition. Moving on. I'm tempted to start a petition for Stu and Amy to enter the wife carrying competition. I want to state that I'm very happy for my Patreon money to be put towards this good cause.
I mean, as long as we could figure out a way for you to carry me over those obstacles, I would be up for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that will absolutely be fine and work out. I just didn't like isn't there a bit of it where you have to go in water, like plunge into water or something?
Yeah, I think
that
so.
bit freaks me out a bit, but maybe there's a little boat I can take across the puddle or something. I don't know.
Fine. I'll shout encouragement over your shoulder, it's fine.
Yeah.
Craig Rex said, whoop whoop, a pod mention. Mate, honestly, it's not that hard. We will read any old shit. He said, I should be a poster person for shoes having mileage limits. I feel it in my calves when trainers hit 500 kilometres like cows feel when it's going to rain and sit down. So he's just like running along and then 500, that's it. Right, take these off, they're done. He just knows.
I feel like 500's okay though. Like, I feel anything less than that, if you're feeling it and think, oh god, I need new shoes, that's too quickly to be turning shoes around. Like, you're going to be going through so many shoes. If you get to 500 and feel like your shoes are quite battered, I think that's fair enough. Oh my god.
Nah, I can get 1,000 of mine,
like
no problem. I'll ride mine into the absolute ground. I will ruin a pair of shoes before I get rid of them.
Same, absolutely the same.
Ooh.
On to our tea update. So we're partnered with Bird and Blend, which means we'll tell you what tea we're drinking. And if you like the sound of that, you can go to runningisbs.com/tea, click on the links and buy some tea if you want. Stuart, what are you drinking today?
This would have been a great opportunity to tell everyone about the Bird and Blend sale they've just had, but it just closed and they really don't do sales very often, so you'll have to wait for Christmas now. Sorry. I've just had some malted milk tea. It's a lovely biscuity tea. It's like a malted milk biscuit. Can't be bad, can it? Amy, what have you got?
Sounds lovely. I have licorice twist. Controversial, because I know people who don't like licorice really hate licorice, don't they? But I love licorice.
Oh, yeah.
And this is, if anything, this could be more licoricey. It's not quite enough licorice for me. But yes, it's very, very nice. Just a black tea with licorice and I think a bit of aniseed or something in there as well, just to add to that flavour. So yeah, if you do like licorice, this is a very, very good tea to get.
See, I know, like, arguing about flavours that people like or don't like is, like, the dumbest thing in the world. It's one of the stupidest things that anyone can do, but it's irresistible, isn't it? When someone says something like licorice when you don't like it, you just can't help but say, fuck you, you're a horrible, bad person. Even though it's obviously entirely objective, and we all know that, but it's still, I just can't help think less of you.
I think most of the things that people typically find really disgusting, like that people have strong opinions on, I like, Marmite, licorice. I don't know any others, to be honest, off the top of my head. But yeah, those things be like, oh, that's disgusting. Like, yeah, I'll eat anything.
Good
as long
for
as
you.
it's vegan.
What have you been up to this week?
So I've been out for a run. I know I haven't been races. I know I said, like, I need to go out and have some adventures so that I actually have something to talk about. And I did that this morning. I went out to Pen Peak, which is near Treherbert in the South Wales valleys. Really, really lovely place to run. I've kind of ran around that area of the valleys before in different places. And it's just fantastic. The last few times I've ran in that sort of area, I always say, like, oh, it's just a really... If you're in the South Wales area, I definitely recommend going out there, sort of Treherbert, that sort of way, because there's just some amazing trails that I don't think enough people take advantage of. And I usually go quite early in the morning, although today I was finishing about... We'll get onto this in a moment. I was finishing about 10:30ish, and there's just no one around. There's just no one out on the trails, really. You pretty much have the place to yourself a lot of the time. I think I saw one person walking their dog, and that was it. The whole, few hours I was out there. So yeah, really, really love running around there. You always get some, really lovely views, really nice trails. So today I went to a new place in that area, which is Pen Peak. It's got a waterfall. I think it's got multiple waterfalls.
It's a big waterfall as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So I saw the waterfall. It was really lovely. If you park at the main car park, it's only a short sort of walk or run to the main waterfall. And apparently you can get right up close to it. I didn't do that, but you can get really close to it.
Yeah, you can get right underneath it. But I imagine it was probably...
Yeah.
It was probably a bit dry this time of year because it's not really rained much recently, is it?
There was still a waterfall. But yeah, it was quite dry.
Water was falling.
There was water falling, but it was super overgrown as well, everywhere, just because it's summer. So getting to the waterfall looked a bit... I couldn't quite see the path properly. So yeah, it looked a bit complicated for me. Really lovely run around there. Ended up doing about 9 miles. I will say, so if you're ever running, and I'm sure it's like this in every forest, but the forests in Wales that are managed by the Forestry Commission or whatever they're called in Wales, but you often come across those signs that are like, do not enter, do not continue, keep out, da, da, da. And I never listen to them.
Advisory there, you don't need to worry about them.
Yeah, so I never listen to them because often I just carry on running and nothing's there, and I just assume that it's an old sign that they've just not bothered to pick up, Today I saw one, and there was also please follow diversion, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh no, not going to bother. It was one of those situations, I think you described it a few months ago on the podcast, where some trees had properly been felled. Is that the right word for trees? Do you fell trees? Where basically... There was lots and lots of trees across the path, just everywhere across the path, but you couldn't get around them. There was no way you could get around them, and it was all sort of bog and peat and all this stuff either side. And when you just look and you just can't see the end of the fallen trees. It's just trees on the ground everywhere. So I thought, no, I'm not even going to attempt to do this. So I went back, I followed the trail diversion, and I actually did a little sort of 1 mile loop and came back down exactly where I was going to go in. So that's just a thing to myself to maybe take heed next time if there's lots of signs and it also says please follow trail diversion and there's little diversion signs up as well. That's usually indicates that you can't pass up there. So I think a lot of them had fallen because I think a lot of it is from those storms that happened. Was it last year we had some really bad storms, or even maybe the year before? I can't remember. But I know Natural Resources Wales have been saying a lot of places are damaged, like there's lots of like trees fallen, landslides, stuff like that, and they just haven't been able to repair the trails. And that's
they've got
what
no
it looked
money
like
now
it was,
and no staff.
Yeah. It was like that situation where the trees looked like they had fallen. You could see all their roots and stuff. So there was a few other instances where, because I was following somebody else's route that I just found on Plotter Route, which is where I get all my routes from. So there's a few other instances where it was telling me to like go into a bit of forest, and you got in and you just couldn't get past. There was just fallen trees everywhere, all the roots and stuff just all bog everywhere, and so I ended up having to go back out, all of that sort of thing. The final 2 miles were absolutely fucking horrific. Like, honestly, I didn't even ring Freya, because I thought if I ring Freya I'll cry, because I'll start talking about how I'm really unhappy and I'm not enjoying it, and then I will cry.
It's not like you to be dramatic like that at all.
No. So, but I thought I've got to get on with it. I've got to get off the side of this fucking mountain or wherever I am. I'll just put my audiobook on and get on with it. But it was awful. It was kind of like a bit of a riverbed. Lots of big, little, all uneven rocks. And also, to top it off, green rocks. You know, green rocks, like, because they've got moss on and they're incredibly slippery. Like, incredibly slippery. You know, sure. just a thin layer of moss over the top of these rocks. So I'm having to basically, like, shuffle down. Like, this is not something that that is unusual for me, but I did have to shuffle down my bum. So that was horrific. And when I thought it couldn't get any worse, I got to this section where basically it was the same thing. It was sort of like a deep trail, almost. I think it's been carved out by the water running off the mountain. But because it's summer and the grass is tall, the grass had grown over the top of the trail, so you basically could not see where you were putting your foot. So I had no choice but to slow right down and just very carefully each time place my foot. Because I did one time, I just tried to do it at a normal pace, and my foot went straight through and I fell off to the side. And I thought, no, that's it. So I had to, like, very, very slowly place each foot to make sure I was on. Underneath is just rocks. So there's some big rocks, there's some little rocks, there's some holes, just absolutely horrific. So that was the final sort of couple of miles, and I was cursing this person because I thought, because it's all like fire. I'd come off like a load of fire tracks and like in a windmill farm. I'm like, there must be a better way to get back to the town than this. Like, this can't be the only route back to the town. Why have you chosen this particular route? Like, what is wrong with you? So I was mentally sort of cursing the person who designed the route. But other than that, it was a nice run. I think if I was going to go out there again, I'd definitely sort of design it myself to the end to avoid that. I think even in the winter it'd be a fucking nightmare, because I think in the winter it'd just be water. You could tell, when you can tell something's just been carved out by water running down, and just water that's like carried all these rocks down. There was some water still running down there, actually. So I think in winter I don't even know how you'd get down there after heavy rain.
Well, quite often there's a path built and then the water's gone, oh, well, this is easier, and then the path just becomes a stream. Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
Like
I think that's exactly it. But it was properly like, these rocks were so slippery, and like I said, you could see this thin layer of moss on all of them. They were just completely green. So it's one of those ones where if I was going to do it again, I'd definitely get on Strava and see where other people had run instead.
How do you just find a random route and just go, yeah, I'll follow that. I'll not check it out at all. Yeah. I'll just follow this person.
How I don't know how I'm supposed to. I obviously check it out. I like zoom in on the aerial view, and I do look on. Well, actually, I don't even put it into Strava because it's on Koros, so I couldn't even put it into Strava. But I could see on Strava afterwards that people had run that route or walked it, perhaps. I don't know how. I honestly, and I'm not just saying it because it's me and I'm like terrible at trail running. I honestly don't know how anyone would run a lot of that last bit, because it was just so treacherous. But yeah, it's part of the fun. It is part of the fun. It does drive Freya mad, because like after I'd done like that bit that I was stressing about, I called her and I was like, oh, she said to me, maybe you should try road running instead, and trail running isn't for you, because every time you get on something that is actually trail, like, you have a panic attack. I'm like, well,
I was
like, no. You do that thing where you take some pictures of like some really gnarly bit of trail, and came home and I'm like, I know it doesn't look bad, and it doesn't look bad. It just looks really doesn't look bad at all.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, exactly. But it is part of the fun. I did almost cry. I've scratched all my legs and my arms up again, and I wouldn't do that bit of the route again. I'd probably plan it a bit better towards the end. So yeah, that was my adventure state. But I saw a waterfall, and it was a really nice waterfall. I do recommend going to just that area in general, that sort of that South Wales Valleys, Herbert side area for some really nice quiet runs if you're from this sort of way. Yeah,
that is on my list. It has been this year to get out there in summer, because there's a cheesecake place nearby I also want to go to. But yeah, I have been to that same spot a couple of years ago, and it was really, really nice. Also did the same in a slightly different way of getting completely lost and just like going through waist-high grass and losing William for quite a while because he was just in the grass. He was right next to me. We couldn't see him. But I look forward. I want to do your route, and I want to skip down that last bit that you couldn't do, and just to show you that it was absolutely fine.
But you've got to... Yeah, but you've got to do it when the grass is still high and you can't, like... I mean, you'd be fine on a lot of it. I think the bit that was actually... I wasn't exaggerating, was the bit where you just couldn't see your feet. Like, you literally couldn't see your feet. I mean, thank God I didn't have Pippin with me. I would have had to let her off and just let her loose. I would have just had to hope...
And that would have been the end of her.
Yeah, that would have been the end of her. She'd be gone. She'd be off the side. But I don't know how else. It would be the kindest thing, and it made me laugh as well. I took a picture of it. There's a sign as you go up to the waterfall, basically saying, what did they call it? They said this is an informal route. I've never heard that phrase before. This is an informal route, which basically means no one's maintaining the route. Like, you're on your own. Good luck. Which was interesting because there are sort of like steps in the stone, so it does look like a pretty formal route, but no, it's an informal route. So you go at your own risk. You're probably going to die. Good luck. Yeah. Anyway, what have you been up to?
Not too much, because I was building up to my kind of big race last week. I did just go and do a bit of parkrun volunteering with William this morning. He does not enjoy it because he has to stand still for an hour and it's not really his thing. It was very weird. I was standing there and the weather was okay. It was a little bit warm. And then the sun came out like really bright. I could really like feel the heat on the back of my head. And then it started raining. It was super weird. And everyone's just running along. And I was just standing there with my arms out being like, what's happening? What? Because like it was really sunny and raining at the same time. But that's, I guess, just being in Britain, isn't it? That's just how it works. The big race, the one I've wanged on about all year, and the one I really haven't planned anything afterwards, was the Beacons Fell Race, and I have my redemption. I have beaten the race. Thank goodness. So this is a 20-ish mile race with around 1,500 metres of elevation. It's a fell race, which means it's not marked, but it has a number of checkpoints that basically define the route around the Brecon Beacons, taking in most of the main peaks of the kind of central range. I returned to the site of my only ever DNF in over 200 races. Back in 2021, I got timed out by a very harsh cutoff, which was revised after that race. This time that cut-off was 1 hour 45, and I got there in 1:35, which is about what I was aiming for. So basically, once I got through that, I was pretty sure I'd be absolutely fine.
What was the old cut-off? Did you do it would you have made it before?
When I got timed out, it was 1:30.
Ooh,
and I think I looked back on the report, and I think they said they revised it to 1:38 on the day. But I think I got there in maybe 1:45, because I think once I'd realised I wasn't going to make it, I was like, oh, fuck it, I'm not going to sprint to get to this cut-off because it's not going to happen. So, yeah, I probably still wouldn't have done it if it was still 1:30 then. This race, however, starts on my hill nemesis. I think everyone should have one. I always a big fan of having people nemesis, but this is a hill nemesis, Tor of Oil. I said it when I recce'd the route about a month ago. It's not the longest hill. It's not the steepest hill. It's just something about it I fucking hate, and I never want to do it again. I don't know what it is. It's just awful. It's right at the start of the race. Perhaps it's just because you start straight uphill, but then in theory you're fresh and you should be all right. It's kind of got a little bit of a false summit in it, about 2/3 of the way up. I think it might be that, but I just fucking hate it. I just hate this hill. There's no need for me to ever do it again. So I did flip it off at the top. Once I'd got to the checkpoint, I was like, fuck you, hill. Not coming back. Things went pretty well for about 20k of this race, and that got me over the bulk of the elevation. That was about 1,100 metres at that point. So that's a lot of elevation I'd done in just 20k. And I thought I was fine. I thought I was doing pretty well. On the way down Pen y Fan, I accidentally had too much fun. It's quite a steep slope down, and there was these two other women running together, and we'd leapfrogged each other a few times and chatted a little bit. They'd been behind me, we'd overtaken a few times up and down the hills. Generally up the hills, they would catch me. Down the hills, I'd get away. And then down the hill, I kind of made a joke to them as I went past. I said, "Oh, I'll see you on the uphill." And then I got halfway down the hill and they overtook me. I was like, "Oh shit, you can do hills. You can," and I was like, "Oh shit, you can do downhills as well. I'm in trouble now." And so, I probably went a little too quick, but having a bit of fun down this hill. And I got to the bottom of Cribbin, where there's another steep climb, and my legs just went. They were gone. Nothing below the waist. This climb, it was only about 130 metres of climb, which in this race wasn't a lot, but obviously I've already done over 1,000. And it's up a load of rocky steps. That 400 metres to go up that climb took me 15 minutes. And after that, I basically had to walk so much of the route. It's just, I don't know, I just had no energy. I'd had my energy gels, I'd had a flapjack. I think probably still wasn't enough, really. I think that's really the main thing from this. I should have had more with me, but I didn't. But my legs were just gone. Every step, it was just literally one step at a time, almost like bringing my feet together, little rest, next step. It was just fucking brutal. And people were overtaking me and just running away. And even though I got to the top, checked in, so thank you to the guy, there's a little bit of like nice gentle downhill from there. To start running again was so hard. And as I walked so much of it, the flat, and to my everlasting shame, I had to walk a lot of the downhill. And that's bad for me. Like when you're only good at downhill running and you're too tired to run downhill, you're going to have a very bad time. It was really, really miserable. A lot of the downhill was kind of right at the end of it. I mean, by that point, I'd done 30k and then there was quite a lot of downhill. So my legs were tired anyway. I trudged in after being overtaken by more runners who just came jogging past me looking perfectly fresh. It was really annoying. I finished in 4 hours 47 ahead of the 5 hour cutoff, and that was all I was thinking about. That's all. The only thing that mattered was making that 5 hours. I did cross the line, and I had run out of water at that exact point. I went to go in my bottle, and the exact amount of water had gone, which is great because if I'd have run out any earlier, that would have made me so much more depressed. It would have been awful. Even to know I had half a mile to go with no water would have really pissed me off. So I managed to kind of time that quite well. Now, I do not need to do this race ever again. I did it 4 years ago, failed. I've done it now. I've done it. That's it. I don't need to do this race. A lot of those routes, those climbs, I never need to do again. It does change direction each year, which I like about that race, but I do not want to do it the other way. I don't need to do this. I'm done. I think it'll be a long time before I do 20 miles again in any form. It's not for me. It's not my thing. The most annoying thing, however, about this, at the beginning, the race director said it was one of 3 classic long fell races in the area. These kind of races that have been around for decades. And I've already done one of the other ones, Clonbeda to Blaenavon. So now I feel like I need to do the Black Mountains Fell Race. And I looked it up. It's a bit shorter, 17, 18 miles, but it has more elevation. So it's like 1,600 metres elevation. So it's in September.
What are the cut-offs for that then? Are they really strict or have they revised?
Oh, I don't know, actually. I didn't actually look that part of it up because I just saw the distance elevation and just noped. I was like, nope, I don't. Like you said, September, that's too soon. Like maybe next year. Maybe that'll be my big one next year. But it's just so annoying that if he hadn't have told me that was like, it's not like an official series or anything. It's just like these are the 3 big old races in the area. I'm like, I feel like I should now.
You've got to do it. Yeah, you've actually got to do it.
Maybe next year. But like I said, I don't think I'll be running 20 miles in any guise for a long time. It's not my thing. I like elevation, I like mountains, but 20 miles is too far.
I mean, there's a difference. Cut off, have a sit down, have a flapjack, and there's 20 miles when you've got to make cut-offs and do it fast, I don't, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was 3,500 calories worth, according to my Strava, and I clearly did not have anywhere near that in my bag, so that's very much my own fault, I think.
But you did it. You've slayed the beast.
Sure.
Insert motivational, well done.
Don't try and be motivational. It doesn't work. It's embarrassing for us both.
Anyway, you can support this podcast and support more fell races by going to patreon.com/running is bullshit and donating money every month if you like. New to the list this month is Charlotte Keel. Oh, don't worry, Charlotte. I'll mispronounce your name a bit more next week when it's my song. Ken Smith, Gemma, and Mike Gascoigne, who let us know that he'd signed up to make the singing slightly more bearable. Okay, let's find out. Here's everyone who gave us money this month.
Mark Willis, Carl Ryder, Matt Boscat, Abigail Harpin, Ian Hales, Anthony Hack, Samantha Lachlan, Mark Gunner, Ivor Hewitt, Tom Wilcock, Charlie Ember, Julia Page, Gay, Nicky Jim, Spencer Aldrich, Shabolic Adult, Elizabeth Shaban, Francis Howell, Penny Simpson, Ken Smith, Dairy, AP, Andy Roberts, Matt, Josie Yorsky, Cheryl Curran, Ian Thomas, Ruth KP, Gemma Roberts, Kat Williams, Kath Everard, Claire Davis, Jenny Tam, Sebi, Kevin Scott, Debbie Hurley, Jonathan Carter, Martin Kaplan, Victoria Magnus, Sandra Heinz, Stevie Robson. Oh God, please stop singing. Karen Blake, Rachel Bentley, Liz Rees, Eric Shaw, Neil Denton, Matt Jones, Graham Hackland, Rich Skirm, Bill, Larry Warren, Chris Whitmore, Len Martin, Kiara Evans, Gail Seal, Tony Boyle, Drew Edwards, Claire, Dina, Ruth, Perkins, Paul, Hibbert, Victoria Cousins, Matt, Lise, David, Irwin, J. Howells, Brian Simpson, Stuart Stevens, Alice Newsted, Raymond Quinn, Sherry Grubbs, Tony Bates, Rachel Ball, Mad H, Karen Hamilton, HP, Fergus, Sophie Jacks, Angela Foster Swales, Nicky Jones, Victoria Dick, Taryn Milligan, Kerno, Mikey Gabby, Thomas Nayer, Matt Newbury, Jason Spinks, David Yellow, Maggie Tool, Matt Caffey, Maria Wicks, Lee Wood, Lisa Gibbon, Andy Nichols, Elliot Line, Daniel Braun, Erica Varys, Tony Howell, Steve Peake, Amanda Murray, Hind, Charlie Nevison. And that song was much harder than I thought it would be, and not very good, but never mind. Don't forget to get in touch with your running bullshit on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search Running is BS and let us know why you particularly hate running this week. Email from Charlotte, I'm going to go with Cheel, that seems most obvious to me, who sent us this Facebook post for discussion. I thought Amy would like to give opinions of this, because it starts, curious of other women's opinions. Amy, you're another woman. This post says, my son, who is also a runner, sees a woman running every morning at the same time, same route, alone, before daylight. He has considered taking his wife with him one day and say something to her about maybe changing it up for safety reasons. Would that be helpful or annoying? And should he mind his own business? I have mixed thoughts on it.
He should mind his own fucking business. Could you imagine?
I thought this would be the answer.
Could you imagine if you were going out running especially like if it's early in the morning, it's dark, and he's saying his wife's going to say it, I guess. He's going to co-opt his wife into doing this for him. But could you imagine if the bloke says it, comes up, oh, have you ever considered changing a route for safety reasons? Like, that would sound like a threat to me. But
I think he had the self-awareness to say, he obviously knew that would be bad. And what if I take my wife and she can say that, it's less creepy, but it comes from a good place.
Wind your neck in, and I think the son needs to think about the men around him and what they're behaving. Does he call out? Maybe he does, but I don't think women should have to change or be told to change what they're doing. It's men that should be changing what they're doing, you know. And I hope the son puts just as much energy into speaking to the men around him and making sure they're not engaging in behaviours that are creepy or make women feel threatened or even worse. So, yeah, I think he needs to focus his efforts elsewhere. Maybe he does that, and that's okay. But this would piss me off. I'd say mind your own business. And I'd say you better start changing your route, because believe me, I'm going to be waiting for you tomorrow at this time. So you need to make sure you're changing your route, mate. That's why I wouldn't say that. No, I think it's I don't know. I definitely understand how some people might see this as just being helpful and looking out for someone, but honestly, it comes across as patronising. And it also comes across as, she's a woman, don't you think she's maybe thought about that because she has to live her life like that? She has to live her life thinking about these things. She has to live her life thinking about what's safe, what isn't safe. And she's come to the conclusion that what she's doing is what's right for her at this moment. It's so patronising. So no, I'd say mind your own business and wind your neck in. But if it was, to be honest, if it was another woman who had written this, I would it's a bit different. I'd maybe still be mind your business, but it is a women like looking out for other women, but when it comes from a man, I'm just like, I don't know. It's patronising.
But I do like at least there is that self-awareness of that person realising that and thinking, right, I feel like I want to say something, but I know I probably shouldn't. Yeah. Perhaps if I can do this, or perhaps, and at least asking that question, and at least ask, by the sound of it, his mother, is this an appropriate thing to do? He hasn't just gone out and waited for her at the corner and been like, I see you every day. He was actually like, nah, this is what I think, but I want to check.
Yeah.
So at least they went that far.
And I do. Like, I'm being, there's a bit of hyperbole to what I'm saying here. I appreciate that he is thinking about women's safety. It's sort of, you're halfway there in a way, where you're even thinking about it. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like, even if he's getting his wife to say it, I feel like it comes across as patronising, and it's not where the effort needs to be. There's like, and also we can run the same route every day at the same time if we want. And for some women, that might be their only option. Is it more of a risk doing that? Yeah, potentially. But sometimes that's just what you have to do, or else you just live your life in fear all the time. So it's just, and I think there's one of those things as well. If somebody said that to me, it would be a bit creepy. It would shit me up a bit, because I'm thinking, why? Have you seen somebody hanging about? Like, have things happened on this route? Like, what is your reason? Or is it just because I'm a woman running on my own in the dark? Because that is allowed. And millions of women do it. So, yeah, I don't know. I get the sentiment, and I appreciate the sentiment, but I think it's a bit patronising, a bit weird.
Well, do you guys think Amy's wound up by this one? Wait till you hear the next one.
There's more. Oh. Clarice Runs says, it finally happened. I finally have some running BS that isn't either too dark for the podcast or going to get me in trouble. I kind of want you to send those in anyway, Clarice, even if we don't read them, just be nosy. She said, running a very dull local route with my headphones on. It's very hot. I'm stopped by a man in sliders, socks, and very thick tracksuit bottoms, a hoodie, and smoking. God, I was stopped by a man while running. I'm already like, it doesn't matter what he's wearing. I'm already like, this is not going to go well.
Your heart rate's already 140.
Oh my God. I take my headphones off to be polite, because obviously he has something essential to tell me, yeah? He then tells me I need to run on my toes more than my heels. Bro. Mate. She said, mate, I'm not sure you're a running coach. Also, I did not ask. The best thing to do in these situations is just keep going, what? Like, you can't hear them, and keep making them repeat themselves until they realise how stupid they sound. Like, what? What are you on about?
I was going to say, have you got any opinions on this?
The thing is, whenever somebody said something to me on a run, it's always a man. It's always a man. The only time that women have ever said to me, oh, go on, or whatever, is in races, If I'm just out on a normal run, the only time I've been spoken to and commented upon about running, even if it's seemingly in a supportive way, is by men. Just focus on what you're doing. I don't need you to give advice. I don't need you to give encouragement. I need you to shut the fuck up and just concentrate on what you're doing and not on what I'm doing. Where do they get the audacity?
Yeah, I'm sure I've seen something before. A woman saying something along the lines of, God grant me the confidence of a man with an opinion.
Yeah.
Just to be that confident for a little while.
Yeah.
Would be amazing. Like, it's pretty cool, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, I think I have a very expressive face in these situations, and I often find when they say something to me and I sort of like take off my headphones, frown at the same time, go, what? They sort of like, they often repeat it back a bit quieter. I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought. Shut up. What are you expecting? Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. While I daintily run off, like, shut up. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah. I love it. Absolutely.
I love these stories. I love how angry you get.
Honestly, I've had enough. Absolutely had enough of it. Anyway.
David Yellow Mag Teetle message. He says, vampire flies are bullshit. I mean, I don't know what they are, but I agree already. Just been on holiday in Switzerland. Nobody warned me that the Alps would be so hilly. 250 metres elevation just to nip to the pub. But that's not the most bullshit thing. While running or walking in the hills, we got bitten by these big horseflies that suck your blood. The bite is really painful, and when you brush the bastard away, you're bleeding profusely. Apparently, they normally eat pollen, but the females need a meal of blood before breeding. Same for Amy. So in the horsefly world, blood has the same role as gin. Oof. Also, constant sound of cowbells. I didn't mind that. Better than Amy's Patreon songs.
Thanks. Oh my goodness.
All kinds of strands there. Thank you.
Oh my god, I have been bitten by horseflies before for the first time ever. Like a couple of years ago, I was like bitten by loads of horseflies, and that was painful, and that didn't really draw blood. So I can't even imagine. That sounds horrific.
Yeah, I've never been bitten to the point where it's bled.
No.
That's pretty bad.
No, but have you been bitten by horsefly? Because it does hurt, like regular horseflies. It actually hurts when you can feel them biting you. So I can't even imagine how painful that is if they're drawing blood. Ugh.
Yeah, alpine cowbells and horse bells and goat bells and sheep bells make it feel slightly like you're in a horror film. Because it's just constant all the time, wherever you go. Ding, 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 ding. And it's just... I feel like obviously if you live there, you probably get used to it very quickly. Yeah. But when you kind of go on holiday, it's just, you can't not hear it all the time. It's very weird.
Yes. I do love the Swiss Alps. So it really, well, maybe it's not, but Austria as well for trail running. I went to Austria a good few years ago in the summer, and I don't know if Switzerland may be the same, but they make everything so cheap because most of their money is coming in the winter. There's just so much free stuff. All the buses are free for tourists. There's entry to a load of outdoor swimming lakes that are normally for ice skating in the winter. I definitely, if people haven't already, if you're into your trail running, I definitely recommend booking a week or a few days in one of the Alps, one of the countries with Alps in, because it's just absolutely stunning. Love that.
Yeah, I can very much recommend going to Wank in Germany.
Yeah. Helen Patricia said, my competitive brain is BS when it comes to Strava local legends. There are hundreds, if not thousands, in my area. But one in particular is mine. If someone nabs it, I get a snarky email from Strava and I have to go back. I do hill repeats on it, up and down on repeat, because it's mine. AH can do one because I would get up in the middle of the night if I had to reclaim my segment. Yeah.
I like that she chooses to read that email as snarky and it's not just purely neutral information. She's like, what? How dare you, Strava?
Just a notification, basically.
Yeah, but she also sent a screenshot. And according to that, she's only on 14 reps, which I don't think is that many. In 90 days, does not sound like many. And second place is on 12. So I reckon you need to get out and put in a proper gap. Some of these people get really pissy and they go out and they do 20 at a time for days in a row just to put a massive gap. So AH can then fuck off and get nowhere near. That's what you need to do. Go make a statement is what you need to do.
These sorts of emails just prove me how... is that a word? Uncompetitive. How not competitive at all I am, because I would not give a shit. Mm-hmm. I would not give the tiniest shit if I got that notification. Gemma Roberts said, training for a year to get a sub 45-minute 5k is bullshit when you take your friend who's never run or heard of cardio to a park run and they do it in 30 minutes. What's the rush? Definitely feel that. Absolutely feel that. Yep.
Yeah, these horrible people that can just do things like that. Mm-hmm. Oh, so I do like that. I've never heard that attitude as well. What's the rush? Why are you finishing so fast? God, what's the point?
Yeah,
where have you got to be?
I very much subscribe to that attitude of, what are we rushing at? Just chill. It's okay.
And finally for the section, Sherry Grubbs told us how she went to hike the Manitou Trail, getting up at 5:15 a.m, only to find it closed because of a race. She couldn't convince her sister to sign up last minute, and she didn't want to finish last, and a medal and after party couldn't persuade her. Apparently her sister has hiked this incline trail 200 times, and the website lists the difficulty level as extreme, brackets, we promise we're not kidding. I love the sound of it already. It's 1 mile, but with an elevation of 615 metres or 2,000 feet in 1 mile.
That is a wall.
That is... The website did say the average grade was 41%. Average.
God.
It also says seasoned incliners and Olympic athletes may summit in under 30 minutes. That is rough, and I want to do it. That sounds brilliant.
I mean, I can do a mile in 30 minutes on the flat, so that's like going to take me a week if I tried to do that. That's horrific.
At least, yeah.
At least. Oh my goodness. That's awful. I feel like at that point, then, and I've said this before, at that point, and before that point, there needs to be steps put in. Are there steps? Because that needs steps.
Yeah, it is steps. It's
is it?
2,744 steps.
Okay, well, that's not too bad, actually. Precise. That's not too bad. Not saying I could do it, but the fact there are steps, I was in my head, I was imagining basically like a hill, like a flat hill, rather than steps. Yeah, okay, that's easy. Just going up steps, isn't it?
I'm just looking at the website. I love this website. It's like a Stairmaster, but outside.
Well, yeah.
And it's so steep, you're not allowed to go down the steps.
Oh my goodness. I don't know then.
You have to go round. You can do like a 3 or 4K to get back down.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, I the thing is, things like that can trigger my vertigo a bit, and I might throw up halfway.
Oh yeah, it definitely would by the sound of it.
Like you just wouldn't be able to look back. Well, I wouldn't be able to look back at all. I just have to look forward the whole time, or else I will get queasy and fall.
Okay, Amy, hit us with some news.
It's the bullshit. Running news. Okay, so we've had some infuriating discussion around men being creepy, and just to get back on that, female Scottish ultra runner, finishes 2 hours ahead of pack. Like this story is just fantastic, and it just sort of cements the science, but also what we're all beginning to find out about like female ultra runners, particularly over longer distances, and how they're just sort of dominating the field. So this is about Anna Rutherford, and she finished so far ahead in a 100-mile race that she was already home by the time the rest of the field crossed the line. That's just it's so good, so good.
Not hanging around to clap me, and she's like, "Fuck it, I'm going home."
Yeah. I'm feeling safe. So she ran the inaugural rat race between Bamburgh Castle in Northumberland and Edinburgh Castle in 17 hours and 23 minutes, which sounds like I mean, I don't really know much about 100-mile races, but that sounds pretty quick. 17 hours and 23 minutes. I don't know what the elevation's like.
Yeah, I think like 24 hours is like a nice, it's one of those nice benchmarks that people have. So that's pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. And so this was more than 2 hours ahead of the closest male competitor. We've talked about this before, like women, especially for longer races, tend to outpace male competitors. So she's a mother of 3, and she said how she sang Dolly Parton's 9 to 5 to keep herself going during the race. Absolutely banging song to keep you going. And she even diverted to check if a man who was laid flat on his back on a golf course was okay. She said he was just looking at the stars, so she had to crack on.
If a man said, "I'm just looking at the stars," it feels like he does need help. I don't know. That seems like just a strange thing to say. But also, it's interesting. One of the top comments on this on Instagram was saying, "Would a father of 3 ever be mentioned in the same way?" I mean, I guess there is a little bit of a difference because obviously the physical effect being a mother of 3 has on a woman's body, but the mother of 3, it's always going to be mentioned, isn't it? And if it was a man winning a race, it's never going to be mentioned how many children he has.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky though as well, because I agree, but at the same time, often women are. I mean, we don't know everyone's individual circumstances, but often women are the primary caregivers. So there's the one hand which is like, yeah, it should be irrelevant, but at the same time, the reality is for a lot of women, it's very relevant. Like I saw a post where it was like, you know, when women run, they're always asked who's looking after the kids, but when it's men running, they're not asked that. And I think often women are primary caregivers for children. So yeah, I agree, but at the same time, it's like often it is relevant because But either way, I just think it's just so awesome, isn't it? I just love the fact that we're given this narrative around sports more generally, and it is often the case that men tend to outperform women. and men are stronger in many ways, but we often measure strength in a very, very particular way. And when it comes to ultra running, I was actually telling somebody at work about this, and they were just, their minds were blown. They were like, really? I was like, some women, other women at work. And I was saying, yeah, because when it comes to ultra running, scientifically now there's evidence that women perform better because of various reasons. I can't remember off the top of my head, like to do with how body fat works and all that sort of thing, but also like the parts of ultra running around planning and the mental side of things, and that if you're overconfident and go out too fast, you're going to fuck up your whole race, like things like that. I just love it. I know every time we get a story like this, I always yap on about it, but I think it deserves to be yapped on. I think it's so cool that there's an area of sport where women tend to outperform men. I think it's just really, really nice, really cool.
Yeah, definitely nice to see it when it happens. Next story, no, it's fun. Farja Singh's died in a road accident. He's the oldest ever person to attain worldwide fame as a long-distance runner. He died in mid-July after being hit by a car while on a walk. His claimed date of birth was the 1st of April 1911, which would have made him 114 years old at the time of his death, but he did not have a birth certificate. This has always kind of been the thing with him. He has been very famous for a while now. He almost certainly was not 114. That seems to very much be a consensus. However, he was very famous for doing a hell of a lot of running. He must have been at least 100. But yeah, he did a huge amount of running and loads of people knew him. And yeah, he was all over the place. So, and it's just, yeah, to be hit by a car just while out on a walk is just like such a shame. It's an awful way for anyone to go, but someone that's kind of got famous for being a runner. Yeah, it's a real shame.
Yeah, it sucks, doesn't it? Because he sort of, when I saw the headline, I assumed he just passed away. When I heard he died, because he's, however old he is. But yeah, it just seems like a waste, doesn't it? As to get hit by a car and when you're just out on a walk, it's such a shame. But yeah, yes. And our final story.
Let's finish on a really fun story. This is like an extension of basically our favourite story from last year.
Oh, yes. So this is another one around police cracking down on harassment of female joggers. So this is another police force. This is Surrey this time, going undercover as so female police officers in Surrey going undercover as joggers, and just basically, when people are catcalling or making sexually suggestive comments, they're basically going to arrest them, which is absolutely fantastic. So this is the Jog On campaign. And the crackdown is being rolled out following the force's work identifying and intervening with violence against women and girls in bars, clubs and town centres across the country. So it's a broader continuation of that. So it follows a 2025 study in Surrey, which found that 94% of the 450 female residents that were surveyed had experienced some form of harassment. Yeah, and I think this is the case a lot of the time where if you're catcalled, it's often such a fleeting moment as well. A lot of women don't think it's worth reporting, not historically, sometimes the police have not been very responsive to catcalling and have sort of characterised it as not a very big deal. So I think it's really good that that this is happening there. And I just love it, like the instant karma of somebody catcalling. And so apparently the campaign is designed to be varied and unpredictable, taking place at any time of the day, so anyone can be caught out. So yeah, love that. I love these sorts of undercover policing. I think it's brilliant, because the thing is as well, it's probably in a community, if somebody's going to catcall once, they're going to do it more than once. So
oh yeah, it's never one.
Yeah, exactly, and not obviously. I think it's the minority of men that are catcalling, because it's a pretty mental thing to do, to just shout at somebody. So if you catch a few people, I think overall level is going to go down, if that makes sense, because it's going to be those same people that are always shouting at women, and it's going to be a minority. So yeah, I think it's a really good idea. I
do love the idea of them being undercover, which I think probably just means just putting on a pair of leggings, basically, and being outside. That's as far as the disguise needs to go, basically, just for for that to happen.
Yeah, I know. Oh.
But yeah, it's wonderful. This is Bradford Police did it last year, and some men actually had their cars seized, which is hilarious.
I love that. I saw a really good. Not that I recommend people doing this for your own safety, but I saw a brilliant clip. I think it was on Instagram or TikTok or something, of this woman who was out running, and obviously a van had beeped at her, and then it stopped at the traffic lights, and she ran, and she went, "Were you beeping at me?" And the guy was like, "No." He was like, "You're beeping," and she had a camera, and he also, the driver had like a Stella or something in hand, and she's like, "And you're drinking." Like that. And they like sped off, and she's like getting the number plate reported to the police. But I think it's so, like I said, like you need to think of your safety first. But I also think it's hilarious when they think they're going to get away with it. And she's like, "Right." It was a busy road, so I guess she felt quite safe because there was lots of people around. Yeah. She's like, "Don't you beep at me." And I'm like, "Yes."
Absolute queen, love it.
Because they're just not expecting them to answer back.
Oh.
Right, Stuart, are you going to be beeping at some women from your car?
Yeah, the amount of times I've seen like a friend running and I've thought I'll shout something as a joke, but had to be like, no, that is not funny. No, don't do that. It's because it's a good thing. Oh, it's just a joke. It's a friend. I know, I've known them for years. It'll be funny, but I'm just like, oh no, it's not going to be, because even though they might laugh afterwards, for that 1 second at the beginning, they're going to be tense up completely, and it's going to okay. So I resisted doing that because it's a bad thing. Do you know what? I don't have a race plan until the end of August, which is a despicable gap of 6 weeks. And I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I guess I might actually have to do some proper running, I guess, which probably makes sense. Because I am mildly obsessive on things like this, I did check, and that will be a 41-day gap between races. The largest gap I've had between races since lockdown was 57 days. And in that period, I have raced every 13 days. I bet everyone is really glad that they know that now.
That's insane.
Nah, it's pretty normal, isn't it?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, it's at least 13 weeks for you, so probably not.
Yeah. That is a lot of racing.
Yeah, but it's fun. Oh, but you're going to do a race. Well, next year.
I am. I have got. I'm getting some races in the calendar for next year, so it is happening. Obviously, I'm not really talking about it because it's boring, because it's not happening till next year. But to follow on from last episode. So we heard about the infamous Lundy half marathon. What was it? The crystalline
granite. You know what it's like.
Crystalline granite. So this absolutely piqued my interest. I thought, what is this crystalline granite? So I've signed up for the Lundy half marathon.
Yeah, we looked at the race. We spent ages taking the piss out of the race for no real reason at all, other than we thought it was funny. We looked at it after we recorded, and like within a minute of you being on the website, you're like, yeah, I'm doing this. You were just straight in.
It looks awesome. It looks amazing. Like Lundy, there's some pictures on the website. Like Lundy looks beautiful, like absolutely beautiful. Yeah, you get a boat. I might be sick on the boat. You do get a boat over, and I might be sick on the boat, but that's okay. And yeah, it looks fantastic. So, and I just have to go and see the crystalline granite.
Yeah.
That's what I've got. So yeah, the infamous, when you run, you know what it's like when you're running Lundy half marathon, you know what it's like. God. So yeah, I'm going to experience it for myself next year. But in all seriousness, it looks absolutely beautiful. It looks fantastic. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
We get to hear that in this section every 2 weeks for the next year. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, if you've enjoyed this bullshit, you can visit runningisbs.com to see their show notes, links from this episode, the whole back catalogue, as well as links to our Patreon merch store and social medias if you want. Bye!
Bye!
Don't try and be motivational. It doesn't work. It's embarrassing for us both.